top of the assists table with 8.
Granit Xhaka, is it?
I think the young players call him a baller. I mean, in my day, a baller would be crying your eyes out, but these days, a baller is you're very comfortable with the ball at your feet and you can, ride challenges. You're very adaptable, playing in different positions. And at the moment, it looks like we dodged a massive bullet, doesn't it, with Mudryk going to Chelsea for 85 million. And us getting Trossard from Brighton, was it 25, 21?
Yeah. I think Mudryk might turn out to be a player. I hate to say that, but I think he might.
Have you seen Chelsea this season?
Well, Chelsea are a basket case, but I think Mudryk could be good. Here is Gabriel, very, very tight to Ferguson once again, as Perry was explaining previously. And now it's with Kivior. Your thoughts on Kivior, Perry, since he's come in?
Yeah, I thought when he came on against Liverpool, obviously our team shape as a whole wasn't particularly great. No. He looked a little bit nervy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I thought against Newcastle last week, again, apart from the first 15 minutes where Newcastle put us under pressure, which you'd expect, probably breathed a sigh of relief with the penalty, which was overturned quite rightly, because he did well. He actually put his hands behind his back to make sure it come off of his thigh. But I thought he looked pretty composed.
Arsenal are getting frustrated here. Gabriel Jesus with a poor challenge. This is a free kick to Brighton, and we've got another Arsenal man down.
This time it's Jorginho.
Claiming that he got caught on the ankle, is he?
He's showing Andrew Madley his stud marks on his calf, I think, just on the edge of his calf muscle. He's not very happy. Andrew Madley just blanked him completely. I think just to get the game to settle down a bit, Andrew Madley said he's let the game flow, which is great, which I like, not giving out sort of weak, needless yellow cards. I think there's going to have to be one that's shown pretty soon, because it's getting very niggly, very tetchy. Just looking there, and it's just a coming together. Yeah, Ferguson just challenging quite rightly for the ball, which is nice and strong, one of those things.
Flag is up, and Ciso caught the wrong side of the Arsenal rear guard. Well, we're at the midpoint of a first half that has not provided us with too many talking points in terms of goal-scoring opportunities for either side.
Both teams at the moment have just cancelled each other out, because I'm just looking at the way Brighton are setting up. Pascal Gross is playing in that sort of deep line midfield role, obviously to try and negate the threat of Granit Xhaka in that inside left position.
Ball over the head of Stupinian. Saka keeps it in. No, he doesn't.
He's really unlucky there, Bukayo Saka, because Estepinian is just wanting the ball to roll out. And Bukayo Saka is very good at that. He's wrapping his leg around it. Unfortunately for Bukayo Saka, I think the assistant on this side got it spot on. The ball just rolled out.
I'll tell you what, it's close. I'd like to see the overhead of that. Brighton have possession. McAllister under pressure, loses out to Xhaka. This is Ødegaard, switches it for Gabriel Jesus inside the penalty area. Tight angle, good save, Steele. Not quite sure he was sneaking in, but make the keeper work.
Again, Brighton not looking comfortable in playing out from the back. This time it's Levi Colwill, Jorginho into Granit Xhaka.
Here is Saka again. And again, will curl inside the penalty area, clear to the edge of the box. This is Granit Xhaka. Now it's with Trossard getting 1 or 2 boos from the Brighton following in that corner. Ball is clipped inside the penalty area. Should be cleared away, though, here, and is by Gilmour. Do Arsenal win a corner? No, it hits Trossard and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, just a little bit of a misunderstanding there from Trossard and Granit Xhaka over on the left-hand side.
So, goal kick. Here is Ferguson. Plays it back to Steele. That was at rather than to.
That was like it was fired out of a cannon. To be fair to Jason Steele, he handled that pretty well as the ball bounced up, sort of waist high. It was a good touch.
Been around a long time, Jason Steele. Interesting that he gets to go this season, having been second choice for the last 4 years. Robert Sanchez was the regular keeper, but Steele's been given a go. Roberto De Zerbi is saying, look, he's my keeper for now, but Sanchez does come in to play the odd game. Played in cup fixtures as well. Once of Blackburn and Middlesbrough and Sunderland before he came to Brighton. Worked hard and gets his reward. McAllister to curl in. Nodded away by Gabriel. Xhaka will knock it back towards Ramsdale.
You know, when you look at players, the way they start off, just coming up to 26 minutes, and you think, are they mentally attuned to the pace of the game? I looked at Gabriel. He hasn't put a foot wrong so far. Every time the ball's come into Ferguson, he's made sure he's tried to nip in front of him. Just there, he shadowed the run of Ferguson, and he made sure he's got his head to the ball. He started off really well.
Yeah, very focused. Trossard against Caicedo has got Tierney outside him. Still Trossard, edge of the penalty area. Mitoma nicks the ball away from the Belgian, not once but twice, and then Ferguson comes in to win it back, and Brighton have it. Ferguson rides the challenge, coming forward, taps it forward. Brighton on the move here, and that's good play. Arsenal win it back through Granit Xhaka, but he's been penalised. And Granit Xhaka shouting at the referee, suggesting that he got the ball, but it will be a free kick to Brighton. Yeah, it all started because Trossard just took too many touches over on the left-hand side. Got to make sure, obviously, Brighton are really up for this game, trying to close down. It's Mitoma who just has the first challenge on Trossard, then Ferguson comes in and takes it off of him. So you've got to make sure you move the ball quicker. Colwell forward, Ferguson with the layoff, and then the ball goes over the head of both Ferguson and Gabriel all the way to Ramsdale. Here is Jorginho, who will turn on the edge of his own penalty area and find Granit Xhaka. Here comes the press from Brighton. 6 players buzzing around that Arsenal penalty area. It's gone to Ramsdale. Ramsdale can only knock it out of play. Forced error.
Just looking at Roberto De Zerbi, obviously the Brighton manager. Have you seen that there's a film called Scanners? No? Is that one for the teenagers?
Maybe.
That's one where people's heads explode. And he looks like the last 5 minutes that his head is going to explode. He's going apoplectic with rage. He's telling his Brighton team to be better in possession.
They've got possession now, all right. This is Caicedo coming forward towards Enciso on the left-hand side. Estupiñán outside him, but he's come infield, and the 1-2 with McAllister doesn't work out. He goes to ground, Enciso, but Arsenal come away with possession. Then they lose it again. Here is Cole. Now it's with Pascal Gross. Back towards Dunk. Brighton comfortable in possession inside their own half.
Just looking at Brighton as well, although Caicedo's obviously playing in the right.
James as a player, played mainly, and then lastly in Romania, had 1 or 2 injury issues in his career, but he's proven to be a very good coach.
I think there needs to be more communication between De Zerbi and Mikel Arteta of what they're wearing.
Well,
it's a bit embarrassing when you turn up in the same black top, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Spider-Man meme, isn't it, at the moment? Although De Zerbi all in black with white trainers, and Mikel, of course, with the grey slacks. And another challenge comes in, this time from Gilmour, and the referee has let that one go in terms of a card, but it will be a free kick to Arsenal. Yeah,
it's just a foul. I think you can understand the Arsenal fans getting frustrated because the game has had no flow about it. We haven't know how to get ourselves in possession. As I said before, Andrew Madley, the referee, is trying to let it flow. And it's not him the reason that the game is very bitty, it's because of the players.
Absolutely.
The players' challenges and giving the ball away.
Odegaard for Arsenal. Granit Xhaka in the thick of everything at the moment. Now it's with Trossard, left-hand side, edge of the box, still going forward. It's Trossard! Oh, his effort skims the top of the crossbar. They backed away. He made space, opened up his body, and it was a powerful hit, but one that just did not creep underneath the crossbar. Yeah,
it was really good play from Ben White into Odegaard, then transfer it to Granit Xhaka into Trossard. Brilliant overlapping run from Kieran Tierney on the left-hand side. Takes a couple of Brighton players away. That enables Trossard to come in. Just takes a slight deflection, actually, off of Pascal Gross. Hits the crossbar, should have been a corner.
Steele under pressure inside his own 6-yard box, finds Colwill, who gets rid, and it's long, and Matoma is quick. Tierney is there as well. Matoma flicks it forward, and Ciso's not going to get on the end of that, but that's the ball they want for the Japanese player, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. You've got to be careful there. There's a massive gap because Gabriel's gone all the way in with Ferguson. There's a big hole in the centre of the pitch. You've got to make sure that one of the fullbacks then covers that hole, because Matoma looked like he could have been away.
Dunk. Forward, Ferguson looked offside and is. Free kick to Arsenal.
We just saw Mikel Arteta absolutely screaming at Gabriel Jesus because he wants him to go and put Jason Steele under more pressure, because a couple of times the goalkeeper's got it stuck underneath his feet.
Here is Ødegaard. Blocked by Colwill, who suddenly finds himself as a centre forward. Incredible rotation of players from Brighton.
Well, because Colwell's now in the midfield position, Billy Gilmore's gone back to the centre-half position. Now Colwell's come back into his centre-half position.
There's only about 2 foot difference in height between Gilmore and Colwill. Long for Estupiñán, space on the near side. McAllister lets the ball come across his body, just inside the Arsenal half, left-hand side. Now it's with Colwill inside the Brighton half. And the game just slows down again. Colwill forward. Estupiñán's on the charge, keeps it in play, does well, shows pace and industry. Estupiñán will play it back. Here is McAllister. Now it's with Dunk once again, 30 yards out. Dunk will play it to the right-hand side. And Caicedo, Mitoma's touch, Caicedo again. 3 to aim at just outside the penalty area, but he's forced back by the attentions of Trossard. And now it's with Dunk once more. Dunk and Gross look to trade passes for a third time. Forward for Gilmore, Gilmore for Gross. Gross taps it for McAllister, McAllister.
Then Ciso tried a flamboyant back heel, gave the ball away, which has been the theme, obviously, of this first 34 minutes. To be fair, Dan, we thought it was going to be a feast of free-flying football. It's been anything but.
I thought it was going to be one of the games of the season. I was at the Amex on New Year's Eve for Arsenal's sensational win down there. But Brighton have won 3 of the last 4 away games against Arsenal in all competitions, including in the League Cup here. And we've got a yellow card. And it's gone to Estupiñán, is it? It is Estupiñán.
Yeah, Estupiñán was pretty stupid there, to be fair. And I said that the referee would book someone for an innocuous challenge.
Absolutely right.
That isn't a yellow card
offence.
Compare that to Martinelli on Mitoma.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why referees frustrate fans and pundits alike, because there's no consistency there.
And you always sense it's an easy out, don't you? Inexperienced foreign fullback gets the first yellow. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. He's unfortunate, and we're speaking from an Arsenal camp here, obviously. Still, we'll take the free kick. It is a free kick, it's just not a yellow card. I think it's an awkward challenge and no more. Estupiñán into the book. Trossard to curl inside the area. Good-looking delivery. Well, both Xhaka and Gabriel went for that, and I think one might have taken it away from the other.
Yeah, on first look, it looked like Granit Xhaka might have taken it off Gabriel's head, because it's a great delivery from Pascal Gross, Trossard. And it is Granit Xhaka just taken it off of Gabriel's head, because if Granit Xhaka doesn't touch it...
Does he get there, Gabriel? He might have done, you know. So, goal kick taken. Colwill has possession just outside his own penalty area. Looks here for Ferguson, who battles with Gabriel. Gabriel, so far, he's got his number, and then he's penalised for a challenge on Ferguson that was very same to the one that we've just seen Estupiñán booked. It's the Brighton free kick, but not a yellow card.
Yeah, that's been the theme, obviously, of the first half, coming into Ferguson. Gabriel making sure he's nice and tight. It's a really poor touch from Ferguson. And to be fair, it was 6-1, half a dozen the other. I can't see how Andrew Maddy, the referee, has worked out who's committed the foul there. And we
Steele with Jesus closing in. Colwill to go long. Mitoma's switched to this left-hand side. He's up against Ben White, and we know he's got electric pace here, the Japanese, and he gets to the ball first. It's Mitoma, shimmies one way, shuffles the other, and then cuts back and gets to the byline and looks to play a low ball in. Big chance here for Brighton. Missed by Enciso.
Oh, it's a bad miss from Enciso. He's leaning back. He should be just tapping that with his side foot, base into an empty net. Really good play from Mitoma on this left-hand side, 1v1 with Ben Wright. It was a really good ball from Levi Colwill initially. And then Mitoma, he's got such quick feet. Just shimmying to go on the inside. And Ben White can't let him go on the outside. Exactly what he does. Great ball across the 6-yard box from Mitoma. And say Enciso's just leaning back. He should be scoring.
Really good run. First time we've seen Mitoma have a run at the Arsenal defence, and it's interesting he's come to the left-hand side. It was a battle that Perry said he was looking forward to watching. We didn't think it was going to happen initially because Mitoma was positioned on the right flank, but now he's on the left, and now maybe he feels he's had one run at Ben White and he's beaten him. And as a winger, you'll know if you think you can beat your fullback.
Well, you actually, in your head, you're like, I've got his number now. I know that 1v1, so you've got to hope that Bukayo Saka can get back and maybe give Ben White a little bit of support. But I know the game has been very fragmented, to say the least, but Brighton have looked just a little bit better in possession than what we have. Brighton have actually dominated possession. It's very unusual when you see a team come in here and dominate possession against us, so we need to be getting Martin Odegaard on the ball, which he is now. He's dropped deep into in our half. Granit Xhaka's been very quiet, hasn't really influenced us because Pascal Gross is picking him up. So maybe we've got to have a little bit of rotation.
Ben White in field. Granit Xhaka will clear under pressure from Pascal Gross. That's another interesting duel, as Perry just referred to. Here is Steele. Jesus is on him quickly, and Jason Steele doesn't look particularly comfortable. Prodded forward by Gilmour. This is Estupinian on the left-hand side, short for Ferguson. Ferguson away from Jorginho. Jorginho does OK, Kivior does better, and Arsenal have it.
Yeah, initially, Brighton, when they're playing out from the back, they've looked at full stretch, haven't they? Probably 4 or 5 times, but they will still keep going. They still keep strong with their principles. Going into Billy Gilmour there, just knock it round the corner. What's happened is, though, when it's going into Evan Ferguson, he's not holding the ball up.
Long for Saka to try and control. He's going to bounce through for Steele.
Did really well there, Estupinian, because Bukayo Saka's made that run from out to in. A lot of fullbacks just let their runners go. He's made sure that he's tracked his runner.
Colwill intercepted by Jorginho, and the ball spins out of play for a Brighton throw.
They're just looking again. Brighton trying to play out from the back. Evan Ferguson's dropping really deep. Gabriel's going in with him, but I want to see Kieran Tierney, if it comes in, come in from the left-hand side and make that left centre-half position, because there's a massive gap between Kivior and Kieran Tierney.
Thrown long towards Ferguson, who battles with Gabriel, who's penalised again. That's another duel that's getting tasty at the minute. All personal battles all over the pitch at the moment. It's interesting to watch. It's not the game that we thought we were going to have, but an awful lot of talking points with 5 minutes to go until half-time. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0. Get your thoughts into Adi and Nick. Half-time coverage from the boys in the box on the Breakdown Live. 0-0. Neither side have really got going, but Brighton have had the better opportunities. As Steele clips it forward towards Mitoma. Estupinian, Mitoma, just inside the Brighton half, plays it back towards Colwill. Here is Pascal Gross, Xhaka leading the press. Steele plays it forward to no one in particular. Trossard picks it up, now it's with Jesus inside the area, looks to curl it back. This is Saka, cleared away. Colwill does well. And then it's curled forward, but Kivior with a good header. And then Pascal Gross. Well, Jason Steele looks very nervous now on the ball.
It's more like Remington Steele than Jason Steele.
You've got to be of a certain age to appreciate that one, boys and girls. Here is Caicedo for Brighton. Plays it forward. McAllister. And then Enciso loses out and it's cleared away.
Yeah, just when Jason Cisse looks a little bit nervy, playing out from the back, he's giving the ball away. When the ball comes into Bukayo Saka, obviously he shouted for Odegaard to leave it, which he did, but Bukayo Saka didn't make up his mind. Bukayo Saka could be taking a touch, where he just tried to feed it along the 6-yard box, and in the end it was Levi Colwill who just hacked it clear.
Here is Colwill. McAllister turns his man well, gets away from Saka too easy, and the Argentine's on the move here. He's got Mitoma to his left if required. Mitoma takes it on inside the penalty area, still going on his right side, plays it infield towards Enciso, it's cleared away, only as far as Dunk.
Did really well there, Gabriel Jesus, because he made sure that he's gone back into that left midfield position, because Trossard was caught centrally with Odegaard, so Jesus made sure that he just filled in, which he does a good job for the team.
Arsenal have a thrower, awful ball from Dunk forward, going straight out of play. And in the left-back position, Tierney gets ready to take. 3 minutes to go until half-time here. This is Jorginho. Now it's with Granit Xhaka towards Tierney. A little bit light from Jorginho. It's gone down the line, and Arsenal have got a free kick now as Trossard is brought down by Caicedo. Possession stats that Perry showed me, 65%, Brighton.
Very, very unusual. As I say, of both managers, the one that would be the happiest would be Roberto De Zerbi, because he's had a reaction, obviously, from the hammering they took against Everton last week. They haven't enabled us to get in our flow. You know, there's been no little passing movements when we're very good down the left-hand side with Odegaard and Granit Xhaka haven't been involved in the game. Brighton have probably had the best chance, where Enciso should be actually scoring when he's leant back. Trossard had a good chance where he hit the crossbar. But apart from that, we haven't been our smooth selves that we normally are at home.
Gilmour for Brighton. 2 minutes to go until the break. As the Seagulls come forward over on the right-hand side. This is Caicedo. Infield for Dunk, and eventually towards Colwill, and now Estupinian. Mitoma away from Ben White, cuts inside. Ben White looks to challenge the Japanese star. He rides the challenge though and then flicks it back. Colwill, can he keep it in play? He might have been able to, you know, and it's towards Ferguson. He's up against Kivior. He's done well initially, has Ferguson. Still has it, takes the shot on. Plenty of power, no real precision, but he bullied Kivior there.
Yeah, Kivior's got to make sure that he keeps his concentration every time, because I think he thought the ball was going to go out of play. Levi Colwill just hoofs it down that left-hand channel. He said there, Kivior gets himself the wrong side of Evan Ferguson, cuts inside on his right foot, but he's off balance, can't get his shot on target.
He's a strong boy, isn't he? He offers something different for Brighton.
It reminds me a little bit of his age. He's 18, isn't he? When Norman Whiteside sort of first broke on scene when he was 16, he was the man boy. Even though Evan Ferguson, to be fair, is probably a little bit more mobile than Norman Whiteside, but you can just tell that physically he's very mature beyond his years.
Yeah, he was a good striker, was Whiteside. He eventually was a midfielder, but beset by injury issues. He's got 4 goals this season, Evan Ferguson. Made his Ireland debut as well, and having been signed from Bohemians, he's a very good striker in the making.
Norman Whiteside actually got me some stick from my dad. I was in the Colts the first team when I was 16. And he said in 1982, and he went, "You think you're good, sunshine? This lad's playing in the World Cup at 16. Yeah. Calm yourself down."
He did indeed, and he played in the 86 World Cup, did Whiteside. Last time that Northern Ireland qualified. Trossard to curl in the free kick. Tierney gets the touch, flicked away by Gross. It's an Arsenal corner, and we're into added on time.
Yeah, just make sure we get a good delivery in from Bukayo Saka. From this right-hand side, he'll be in swinging in with his left foot. Granit Xhaka just trying to block Jason Steele, so the goalkeeper can't come and get a clean punch.
The art of blocking See it at every single Premier League corner. Saka to curl in, nodded away by Ferguson, and then Ødegaard's nods it back towards Saka. Saka looking for Trossard. Trossard, can he get the cross into the far post? He can, and it's Gabriel Jesus that eventually will volley in, and he'll come back out to Bukayo Saka! Wide. It was such a packed penalty area, you wondered if he was going to find a way through with the shot, and I'm not quite sure there was a route through, and his effort whistled wide.
Yeah, it was actually brilliant defending at first from Levi Kowa on the far post. Great little clip ball. Looked like Gabriel was going to nod it into an empty net. He said, come to Bukayo Saka. He'll be disappointed. It was a great first touch to set his shot up that he doesn't hit the target.
Brighton play out from the back again. You can't help but feel that's going to be their downfall. This is Colwill, who's given it straight to Jorginho, and now it's with Xhaka to play for Ødegaard. It's cleared away again. And Brighton have it with Ferguson, and he's played it towards Enciso, but Tierney is there. And now Caicedo looking to take on Trossard with a burst of pace. And Caicedo coming forward, tries to knock it to the right-hand side. It ricochets back towards McAllister. He's got Estupinian in a good position. Mitoma as well, he's given the ball away. White intercepts, Ødegaard has it now, just outside his own penalty area. Saka, the Kivior left-footed for Jorginho. And now it's with Saka again. Saka aims it back towards Ramsdale, who didn't realise it was coming towards him, but thankfully would not have got into an unguarded net. Ramsdale gets there anyway.
Yeah, just looking at Brighton set up again. Pascal Gross. Granit Xhaka obviously just trying to move him around. Pascal Gross just following him.
Arsenal have a throw. Tierney will take Trossard on the move, left-hand side.
Ooh.
The flag has gone up and then it's gone down. The referee doesn't know the rules of the game. Here is Trossard. You can't make this up. Brighton have it now.
I think the linesman on this side's having his half-time cup of tea, isn't he?
Here is Ødegaard for Arsenal. He's inside the area, takes the shot on wide of the target. All the fans around him are giving the assistant a whole world of stick, rightly so.
If a linesman can't make one mistake in a game.
Well, you can probably hear some of the fans giving him a bit of stick down below as we do pass on apologies if there was a little bit of bad language.
We're just encouraging him. Bad luck next time, Lino.
Colwill. Here is McAllister up against Jorginho. Can't quite keep it in play, and Arsenal have a throw. McAllister throws the ball away. Now, surely that's a yellow card. He's not been seen by Madley, has it?
Andrew Madley didn't see it. He just turned away completely. It's been a very fragmented, frustrating first half.
Kivior, and then Xhaka plays it back towards Ramsdale.
Just interesting well from Brighton's point of view. I mean, we're in possession and Martin Ødegaard wants to get himself in possession. Levi Kowa was following him all the way in.
All the time. This is Saka. He's up against the Estupinian. It's still Saka inside the penalty area. Looks for the cutback towards Ødegaard, but it's Colwill who's there, who will clear away.
Levi Kowa's got away one there because he's tracked Ødegaard all the way in, left a massive hole in the centre of defence, and then because Bukayo Saka was on the outside of Estupiñán, tries to cut it back. Levi Kowa's lucky because he's the one who's standing right next to Ødegaard.
Saka for Ben White, right-hand side, clips it inside the area, cleared away by Dunk. Now it's with Mitoma, takes it on his chest, knocks it to the halfway line. Kivior knocks it back in field. Ferguson battles away with Gabriel. Jorginho picks up the loose ball. Ferguson back up on his feet. Brighton coaching staff not happy with that. And there's the half-time whistle. Well, it's been a disjointed display from both sides to a certain extent. Trossard hit the top of the crossbar. Enciso blazed a really good opportunity over from close in. Brighton have been good on the counter. Arsenal have carved out one or two opportunities. It's been a half period that has seen an awful lot of chances that the referee, an awful lot of tackles that the referee has let go. We have seen one caution, but disjointed and bitty and not quite what we thought was going to happen.
No, we actually all thought it was going to be a free-flowing festival of football, and it's just been a fragmented sort of farce in the first half, to be fair, because neither team has really gone. You have to say Brighton have dominated possession. They still don't look particularly comfortable trying to play out from the back when it goes into Jason Steele. We've managed to nick it a couple of times, but Brighton have done well just to make sure the game is, say, very fragmented, where we haven't been able to get in our flow. Interesting little tactical battles going on, you know, with sort of Levi Colwell following Martin Odegaard all the way in, then Mitoma and Sissoko having a swap, Caicedo coming in from the right-hand side to make an extra man in midfield, Pascal Gross picking up Granit Xhaka as well. So there's all these little intricacies, but I don't think Mikel Arteta will be very pleased because a couple of times we've been too slow in possession. He wants us to move it on that little bit quicker and maybe have better rotation as well, because they've stopped our flow. Then maybe just have a little swap with Granit Xhaka and Odegaard. You know, just or even now Trossard with Bukayo Saka, just to try and cause them a few more problems.
Going to be a fascinating, maybe nervy second 45. Plenty to talk about when it comes to the opening 45. Let's throw you back up to the boys in the box with AD and with Nick and all of the gang. Half-time here. It is Arsenal 0, Brighton 0.
Yeah, thank you very much, fellas. Back with you shortly. Yeah, you just said, Clarkey, not the goal fest you were expecting.
No, I think we all thought there'd be goals, but yeah, it hasn't turned into that kind of game, has it? It's kind of been end-to-end at times, but very stop-start from an Arsenal point of view. I think Brighton have done quite a good job tactically on stopping us and breaking up the game and breaking up our rhythm. And yeah, we've not really had much possession at all. Everything that we've done has been on a breakaway or on a transition, which is fine. And I think we've had the better chances, but yeah, not the kind of half that we wanted or that we particularly enjoyed. It was quite frustrating.
Yeah, definitely. What are the thoughts of the guys in here? Anyone got any thoughts?
I mean, those first 10 minutes, it felt like the game had barely played. I looked up, 12 minutes on the clock, and it's like the ball's been in play for 3 minutes. I mean, what's interesting to me is Caicedo, for him, I expected him to be in the middle for them. He's way off on the right, seemingly isolated with Trossard and Tierney, not involved in their build-up at all. I mean, maybe they think that's a physical matchup that they can take advantage of. I don't know how they adapted with Martinelli going off, because clearly, you know, that's an outlet we're missing now. So, we'll see how things change.
And the Brighton fans really getting on Trossard's back, that's for sure, aren't they?
Yeah.
Should have scored as well, shouldn't he, Tross?
Look, yeah, it was a good run, wasn't it? He sort of took on his man and it opened up lovely, didn't it, on the inside of the fullback. I just think he needed to hit it slightly earlier. He delayed a step and then he was stretching at the shot. And for that reason, he wasn't fully balanced, and it was always on the sort of rise, the strike, and it clips the top of the bar, doesn't it? Yeah, he could have done, any kind of bobbler. It didn't really matter, but I just think as it opened up, he had an opportunity to just whip it early, took the extra step, and then it made it a more difficult shot.
We scored a toe poker. Was it the first goal at Anfield? Or second goal?
Yeah, I mean, he can score all kinds of finish.
Yeah.
He's left foot, right foot. He's a really good, adaptable player, isn't he? But yeah, he'd have loved that, wouldn't he? But yeah, I mean, we've had a few oohs and ahs, haven't we? We had Saka just one past the post, that one that clipped the bar. I think Odegaard had one that skidded just wide. But yeah, not enough clear-cut chances.
Yeah, right. We should talk about the press and kind of the refereeing. Really, that's what we wanted to get into first. Let's have a look at some of the messages that are floating around in Twitter land. This one from Carlin saying Brighton's build is hard to press at the best of times. Arsenal slightly altering their shape to combat it. Odegaard and Jesus screening centrally, pressing centre backs. Yeah, I know. Sure, this ain't you.
Even I'm confused.
I'm reading it and I don't know what I'm saying. You know, Xhaka is higher to cover, access to the DM. And the centre-back super aggressive between the lines, and then goes on to say that Arsenal have regained possession 2 or 3 times due to the last point.
Yeah, I mean, look, we can all see with our eyes, putting it in layman's terms, look, Arsenal press is excellent. But look, we said about a header kick-off, didn't we? They will risk it. They'll say, come on then, come and get it off of us. And they're just playing cat and mouse with us. And we've been really unlucky a couple of times not to, well, we've stolen the ball in good areas a few times, but I reckon we've probably won it 4 or 5 times. And we've then come really close to winning it another 4 or 5 times. And yeah, for that reason, it's felt quite frustrating. But as I said ahead of kickoff, if they do play through you, they'll then go long. And because we've committed so many players to it, They're dangerous, aren't they?
They've nearly got in a
really
couple of
good.
times.
They had a good shot, didn't they, early on?
Yeah, we could carry on cycling through these. So this one from Euro Expert, we've read that. James Bench here, journalist, saying Arsenal's pressure in the first 6 minutes, this was early on, has been outstanding. They're forcing a really good on-ball team into sloppy decisions. Yeah, we almost got it off the keeper. There was one, was it Xhaka? There we go. Yankee Gunner. The press has been fantastic today. Yeah, look, it's obviously something that Mikel Arteta wants to do, but then you noticed, and I'm sure everybody else has noticed, there were points in the game where it was proper cat and mouse stuff. Yeah. Like Brighton, they had the ball and it was kind of, they didn't know what to do because they were waiting for us to come on.
It was like a standoff, wasn't it? Like Lewis Dunk's just like that, come on then, what are you going to do? And then he's just waiting for us to go and then they pop it off. So it is quite an interesting match, but give Brighton their dues. Like they're confident about what they do, aren't they? And I still think it's a tactic that we're getting the better of. I think that we can carry on pressing and stealing it. I fancy us to get a goal from a turnover more than them do one from one of their longer passes. But they are dangerous. They almost got one, didn't they, early on with it through a longer pass and a couple of other little scares. So we've got to be careful. But I want to see us continue to try and press them, but obviously sensibly.
Yeah, frustration today, though, has been the amount of fouls, I think it's fair to say. Yeah, there's been a lot of fouling, and it's been noted by everybody. Just 5 minutes into this Arsenal-Brighton game, and 5 fouls already.
I mean, we're up towards 16, 17 already.
Charles Watts talking about Martinelli when he got he fouled, but essentially ended his game.
Look, it was an accident. It was accidental from Caicedo. We've seen the steals, haven't we?
Well, Sam makes a good point here, saying the referee's failure at the very least to book Martinelli makes him a target. That was Martinelli, and was it Mitoma?
Yeah, I've seen the replay of it, and he jumped into the ball. He didn't mean to hurt Mitoma, but it was a little bit reckless, and it really hit him in the face. And it was lucky he didn't get knocked out, Matoma, there.
Well, it goes on to say, minutes later, Caicedo fouls Martinelli with what should have been a booking too, but he injures him, and soon after he has to be subbed. It was all caused by the referee dodging a decision.
Yeah, I mean, it was a foul, but I think it's unlucky that he's injured Martinelli. I just think it's the way that they've fallen, and he's sort of landed on his ankle and it's rolled it. So it's a shame, because it might be his season done now, Martinelli, which is a real choker for him and for us. But yeah, I wouldn't say Caicedo went to do Martinelli there or anything like that. I think he could have got booked. Martinelli could have got booked, but I've not got wound up by that. To be honest, the referee's just a little bit too whistle happy for me. I don't think he could let the game flow a little bit more. But Brighton have probably been the aggressors, I would suggest, and they're succeeding in slowing down our rhythm, as we just said. Yeah,
I guess one of the good things, the silver lining, is that we do have players like Trossard on the bench, quality players who can come on. You couldn't have said that, last season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what we were building for. That's what January came. That's what it was for. He came in. He can make an impact. Jorginho's come in, and he gained Partey's place. So yeah, and this summer we're going to do the same again. Hopefully with 3 or 4 signings, so that we're ready for that Champions League campaign and we can rotate on a weekend and not be weakened too much. That's the plan. But look, it's a tough game. It's a tough game. But look, they've got City, haven't they?
Yeah, I
mean, they'll make it tough for City.
I was just thinking that, hopefully we get the win in the second half here. But watching how good Brighton are, it does give me a little sliver, a glimmer of hope. I don't want to get carried away, but I'm looking at it thinking, if we get the win here today.
They're just a tricky team. Yeah. They're a really tricky team. And it'd be interesting, as I was saying to you during the game, if De Zerbi was in charge of a top 6 side, I think it'd be a really interesting team. If he had more better players, I think tactically they're quite unique, really. I wouldn't say good to watch. Well, they are good to watch, but today it's also frustrating for us, isn't it?
Yeah. If you're a neutral, you'll probably be praising it, but against us, you're like, I wish someone would make a mistake. Right, let's cycle through some stats now that you're going to talk us through, Clark. We're going to see some team stats first, so just talk us through.
Well, we talked about the possession, didn't we, ahead of kickoff? Have a look at that. Home game to Brighton and Hove Albion, 38% of possession. It's unbelievable, really. I want to turn your attention to the third one down, accurate passes, under 100.
Wow.
Under 100. The last time I looked, and it might have just been slightly above it, the player with the most accurate passes in that first half was Jorginho, 12. I mean, when we're on it, Ødegaard's making 40 a half. You know, and Jorginho 40 a half. So yeah, here we go.
It's gone up to, I think 17.
So you go AP. If you look at AP, yeah. So the row in the middle there, Jorginho's got 17, Kiviar 14. What's Ødegaard? Martinelli had 2, Jesus 3, Saka 9, Trossard 3. Ødegaard's got 12. So look, these are all very low numbers. You're expecting 30s and 40s really by half time. So we need. I don't think we have to have more of the ball to win the game because we're still carrying a threat with those counters and transitions. But I'd like to put a bit more pressure on Brighton. It's a bit more sustained pressure where you can force a few openings just through pressure. At the moment, we're sort of just hitting them hard and fast every now and again. And I think we'll need more than that, really, to open them up.
I think their game plan has very much been what you said. You know, you were right that's why, you know, you're the stats guy here, I guess. But, you know, you said that they won't play any differently to how they normally play, and that's exactly what they've done. I guess the difficult thing is they're pressing us quite high, and we're not really pressing them. We were at first, but I think as the half went on, we stopped pressing them.
There's a time and a place. When it goes back to the keeper, we are.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is, do you think Brighton can continue playing like this for the full 90? Is that something you think they'll do?
Yeah, they will. Yeah, and I don't think it's going to change. It's just up to us.
So what do we need to do?
We will take our chances. You know, that's the difference. I don't think, but I would like us when we get the ball to be a bit better with the ball and to just maybe get them chasing us a little bit. Yeah, because it would just give us also a little bit of a breather because we've had a lot of the game without the ball, getting into position, going to press and whatnot. I'd like us to maybe, do a bit more of that to Brighton and sustain the attacks like we did. Remember the Man United game? We just tore at them, didn't we? We tore at them and tore at them. We had shot after shot in the second half. I'd like it to be a bit more like that in the second half, but it's not going to be easy because they're comfortable. They're so comfy in the ball. It's hard to get the ball off of them. So it is a really interesting game tactically. Clive will be loving it, won't he? Yeah. And Tim as well. But we've got to be a bit more clinical when we get our chances. And hopefully we'll get more chances by having a little bit more of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we have created though, like you say. It's bizarre because when we looked at the stats we just had up on the screen there, you know, we've not really, you know, strung together that many passes, but Saka could have scored. Yeah. Trossard should have scored probably.
We've had the better chances, haven't we? Yeah. So you look on those transitions, we look dangerous. Saka 1v1. Estepina's been booked, doesn't he? So he can get at him second half. Trossard I kind of fancy against their right back. He's dipped inside him. Want a bit more from Jesus, don't we? You know, a bit more of that. I think Xhaka as well. He's a little bit weary today. He's not getting into the box like he normally does. You think about that Chelsea game. He was always in the box, wasn't he? Yeah. He didn't spend any time not in the box really. But today it's been very different. I think maybe because he's close to Caicedo and there's a bit of a standoff going on. So yeah, look, I think we can impose ourselves a bit more on Brighton. Because what's happened in the first half is they've imposed their game on us and made it their type of match. And for that reason, it's 0-0. And we're sort of scrambling for that goal.
Do you think also the fact that Zinni's not playing today, me and you spoke early on that Ødegaard's the guy that's dropping towards the centre-backs to pick up the ball when normally Zinchenko would be operating in that area, exactly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we don't want Ødegaard there really, do you? But we don't just want Jorginho because he's easy to mark. So we want the two. But I don't know if I want Ødegaard going there. Yeah, exactly. I don't see why Xhaka can't do that, and then we can leave Martin a little bit higher. But I'm sure that Mikel will be enjoying the tactical tussle a little bit. He's just got to come up with one or two little tweaks at half time, and hopefully they'll pay off, and that we can start to sort of assert ourselves onto them. I think that's the key here.
Yeah. Well, I'm just hearing Brighton on the way out. Here we're just waiting on the arrival of Arsenal. Do you think Arteta will be happy with what he saw in that first 45?
No, I wouldn't say happy. Do you? Does anyone out there? No, I don't think so. Yeah, more possession. He wants control, doesn't he? We know he wants control. Well,
when he loses duels, he's upset. We know that. So.
He loves a duel. But yeah, I think Brighton have shaded it, really. I think we've had the better chances, but it's Brighton's type of match. What we want it to be is our type of match and the better chance the second half. And I think having a bit more of the ball and a bit more sustained pressure is the way forward.
Yeah. Everybody in here still confident?
Yeah, last five was better, wasn't it? I think we created a couple of chances, didn't we? Yeah.
I think Brighton will fatigue. I think Brighton will fatigue. They had a lot of games played recently.
True.
So I think the last 10 minutes will be key to kind of how the outcome would play for this match.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah. Right, well, listen, the teams have just emerged here at the Emirates Stadium, so I think it's time to get back down for the second half with Perry and Dan.
Many thanks to Adrian, many thanks to Nick and all the gang upstairs as well. Get set for the penultimate 45 here at the Emirates Stadium this season. Forest away, of course, on Saturday, and then Wolves at home to wrap things up for the league schedule. And the way that the fixtures have been planned means that if Arsenal win here, they'll have an opportunity to go to the top with a win at Nottingham Forest, which leaves Manchester City with 2 games to get back on top, potentially before the final games of the campaign. City are away at Brentford, and of course Arsenal, as we all know, at home to Wolves. Will it go that far? Well, we need to win this one if it is to go at least to the game that Brighton also feature in against Manchester City, which is the midweek before the final weekend of fixtures. Arsenal looking to start this second half strongly and with a bit of momentum and with a bit of quality and with a bit of rhythm as well, and they win a corner early on. Get Perry's thoughts on what needs to happen in this second 45 in just a second. Let's see what the Gunners can do with this corner. Once again, Gabriel back post, Kivior as well. Xhaka on the keeper. Saka is going to curl this one in, left-footed from the right-hand side in a strip of sunshine at the Emirates Stadium. Out goes the signal from our number 7, curled towards the near post and nodded away to the edge of the penalty area. Odegaard's touch is just about good enough, and he sends it back towards Ramsdale, who in turn will take a touch himself before thumping it long, where 3 Arsenal players outnumber 1 Brighton man, but it's the Brighton player that wins it in the shape of Caicedo. And now it's with Granit Xhaka once again. Here is Kieran Tierney. Perry Groves, what have Arsenal got to do in this second half?
I think move the ball a lot quicker. Like to see our rotation improve as well. So just talking about Granit Xhaka was quite quiet in the first half. Now he's got himself on the ball in that inside left position.
But gives it away. And now Enciso has it. He is starting this second half on the right-hand side with Mitoma on the left. Ball has been pushed through towards Enciso, but that's easy for Kivior to come across. And then Ramsdale will put the laces through it. Long for Jesus to battle with Dunk. Well, Dunk got a bit of a nudge from Jesus, still manages to win the duel. And now Colwell, whose want is to gallivant forward on the odd occasion, and he's nearly been caught out, as Perry has explained. Brighton have it. Colwell goes long. Mitoma nods it in field. And McAllister has the ball at his feet. Here is Enciso. The flick for Caicedo won't make it to the full-back, although he's managed to beat Trossard, has he? Not quite. Trossard is game and physically enough to win it back, and then Dunk comes in and nods it out of play. Arsenal got a throw.
Yeah, he did well there. Leandro Trossard just making sure that he's doing his team's defensive duties, following the run of Caicedo all the way down this Brighton's right-hand touchline. Just like to see Aaron Ramsdale. Brighton have put the full court press on, and obviously Aaron Ramsdale's going long. Twice he's gone long, straight down the centre of the pitch to Lewis Dunk, and Gabriel Jesus has got no chance against Lewis Dunk. He's normally good at, sort of backing his body into the centre half, but I'd like to see Aaron Ramsdale go long into the wide positions, go into Bukayo Saka or into Trossard.
It does seem odd, doesn't it, that? Because it's just happened in quick succession. And you think, well, I know that Gabriel Jesus will always battle, he will always try, but against Lewis Dunk, who is a huge unit of a centre-half, he's nearly always going to get beaten in the air. We've just seen Jason Steele whack the ball at Gabriel Jesus, and he's caught him fully in the face. The second half has started as the first one did, except replace Odegaard with Jesus here, but he's up on his feet and he's okay. Always hurts when you don't realise it's coming towards you. There's not a lot you can do, is there, sometimes? It's a stinger. Here is Dunk for Ferguson. Now it's with Caicedo, right-hand side, away from Trossard, and then plays it back towards Jason Steele once again. I'm sure that Mikel Arteta will have said to his Arsenal attackers, look, get on the keeper here, because he's nervous and he's not anything like as good as maybe he thinks he is, or the coach thinks he is. Mitoma, good leave. And this is Enciso, and Mitoma wants it through the centre. Enciso still has it at the moment, looking to size up the shot. Still has it. McAllister back towards Enciso. It was Kivior that did well to get back and win the ball initially. Tierney has it. Now it's with Granit Xhaka. Enciso just dallied in possession there, didn't he? Ødegaard. This is Bukayo Saka. Now it's with Granit Xhaka inside the Brighton half. The Swiss flicks it forward towards Trossard, who's fouled by Caicedo. Free kick.
Yeah, it's better passing from Alger. Moved the ball very quickly. Great free kick from Kieran Tierney.
Taken quickly for Saka on the left-hand side. Up against Caicedo, now on his right side. Here is Trossard, back towards Xhaka. Tries to pull it back. Really good block from Dunk. The flag is up anyway.
Yeah, Granit Xhaka just going a little bit too early. On Brighton's attack, it just shows you the quality of Mitoma. Levi Colwill gets the ball in the centre-half left-hand side, and he fires it into Mitoma. He said there, just the awareness in him is fantastic. He just has a little over, lets it go into Enciso. Enciso actually should return the compliment and roll Mitoma back in. Just takes too long. Trossard does well to rob him.
Long punt forwards here, Kivior with Mitoma, or rather White with Mitoma. Here is Mitoma up against Ben White, edge of the penalty area, then chops back, still has possession, good reverse ball. Estupiñán pulls it in, it's towards Ferguson. It's come back in, and the header from close range from Enciso sees Brighton lead. The flag stays down, and in front of the travelling contingent, it is the Seagulls soaring and celebrating. Arsenal 0, Brighton 1.
Well, the assistant on this near side has kept his flag down. At first, it looked like Enciso might be offside because he's completely unmarked in the middle of the 6-yard box. It's Estupiñán who gets the cross back in, actually hits it into the floor.
Has one go, then the other, as you say, hits it into the floor, and then it's just nodded in from Enciso. I don't think the Arsenal players realised that it was going to come straight back in, and it still looks potentially offside, but we're going to have another look at it now. Perry, good work from Mitoma initially.
This is long ball from Levi Colwill, just releases Mitoma on that left-hand side, 1v1 with Ben White. Estupiñán on the overlap, he gets his first cross in, then comes back to his right foot.
Oh, it's close, you know. It is close.
I think...
What are we saying here, Perry? Off or on? First time...
Like... Oh, he's well onside. Kieran Tierney is playing him. He's behind Kieran Tierney. Just a snap cross from Estupiñán. And Enciso's completely unmarked in the middle of the 6-yard box. From Brighton's point of view, it's a well-worked goal. Obviously going from back to front very quickly. From our point of view, it's a very, very sloppy goal. Bukayo Saka maybe should have tracked the run of Estupiñán when he's overlapping down that left-hand side.
Well, Estupiñán and Enciso have just been speaking with the fourth official, and Enciso basically said, is this definitely going to count? And the fourth official said yes, and he's just celebrated again. You're absolutely right about Tierney.
Yeah, he's well onside. And probably Trossard might be playing onside as well. Just a very scruffy goal, but Brighton won't care. They've dominated position in the first half. They've made sure they've kept us from getting in our rhythm. Now it's, can we respond? The Arsenal fans getting behind the Arsenal team. Then we've got a big 33 minutes to come.
38 even. Yeah, I could see the mental calculator spinning around between the ears, but I have to tell you, you failed your O-level, Mr. Groves. We're going to restart with Brighton a goal up. It's Enciso's third of the season. Big 38 plus added on time. Here is Ramsdale. Long to the right-hand side. He does go down the flanks this time. Better opportunity maybe for Arsenal win the second ball. This is Granit Xhaka, Ødegaard. Now Ben White forward towards Gabriel Jesus. Good defensive work from Brighton, though. And it's cleared away. And it's going to spin up, but Gabriel can only knock it into the path of Mitoma. Mitoma up against Kivior. Still Mitoma looking to race away from the pole. And then is he fouled? Right in front of the Brighton fans. Well, the only thing that's gone in Brighton's favour there is it a free kick or just a throw?
Well, I think Andrew Madley has given the throw in to Brighton.
Yeah.
And I think what Kivior's saying, if it's not a foul, then it's come off of Mitoma's knee.
It should have been an Arsenal throw. Brighton have it again. Estupiñán on the left-hand side. Mitoma loses out to Saka. Now it's with Granit Xhaka. And eventually for Gabriel. Here is Tierney looking to take it away from Enciso. That's a free kick to Arsenal. Enciso not necessarily getting the headlines of a Mitoma or a McAllister or a Caicedo for that matter, but what a shrewd signing he's proved to be from Libertad, the Paraguayan international, who's only 19. Third Premier League goal of the season, 11 for Libertad, a real powerhouse of the Paraguayan top flight before his move. And he's a young player, very much going places. Oh, Xhaka was a little loose there. Billy Gilmour nearly wins it back. Likewise, Pascal Gross, who catches Jorginho, and it's a yellow card for Pascal Gross.
Yeah, just a little bit late on Jorginho there. Granit Xhaka nearly getting caught in possession first time, then Jorginho just trying to flick it with the outside of his right foot out to Ben White. Pascal Gross is a little bit late. Andrew Madley gets the yellow card out.
Fifth yellow card of the season. Not that that means anything at this stage of a campaign. We've had 10 minutes of the second half. Arsenal find themselves a goal down here. Kivior for Gabriel. Gabriel challenged by Ferguson. And then the header from Enciso, who's giving it to Tierney at the moment. I can tell you, those two are having an interesting duel. Tierney's not one to back down. Caicedo will take the throw in, steals a yard or two, midway inside the Arsenal half on the right-hand side. Caicedo throws it to Ferguson, then wins it back. Gabriel Jesus has it now, though. This is Xhaka. And on the edge of his own penalty area, Gabriel finds Kivior just outside the Arsenal box.
Just see again, we're trying to play out from the back. Martin Odegaard's being shadowed by Levi Colwill. He's gone all the way in.
Isn't that interesting? Long ball forward, but it's wasted. It's gone straight to Estupiñán. It's an interesting spot from Perry, and in fairness to Mr. Groves, you did see in the first half as well. But it makes life different, not necessarily difficult for Odegaard. He's got to work his own way around it. Here is Estupiñán, Mitoma up against Ben White. Mitoma, edge of the area, inside the area, still going forward, runs into White, cleared away by Kivior.
Yeah, again, another little facet of Brighton's play when they're playing out from the back. We mentioned Caicedo going into that midfield position on the right-hand side. That's where they come out on Caicedo there, totally unmarked, and he's able to transfer the ball out to Mitoma on the left-hand side.
Well, what a clever and competent side Brighton are. Better now under De Zerbi than Potter. Well, Potter had a few other players that, of course, has since left, and there's plenty of their squad coveted at the moment. But they are moving in the right direction, and well, Ferguson here has got possession. Really good work from the forward. 25 yards out, plays it over towards Mitoma. 3 inside the box, waiting for the delivery. This is Estupiñán. It's back towards Billy Gilmour. Gilmour short for Colwill. Colwill looking for Gross. And Arsenal at the moment, we haven't seen the response since going a goal down, and that's been the disappointing thing, but Brighton just haven't allowed it. Mitoma. Danny Welbeck's getting stripped, ready to come on for Brighton. Colwill.
I'm just looking at Mikel Arteta. I always say that a manager earns his spurs either at half-time or after about an hour. So we're coming up to 58 minutes now, and we haven't had the response, so this Arsenal team need a lift. So I'm looking at the bench. Is he going to bring on Emil Smith-Rowe, Reece Nelson?
Nelson and Partey are the two players getting stripped for Arsenal. Well, the Gunners faithful are doing their best. Arsenal fans have been absolutely brilliant this season. Jorginho forward, looking for Saka. Mitoma's there.
Just a really loose pass there from Jorginho. It's only 10 yards into Bukayo Saka and just gives the ball away.
Caicedo looking for a 1-2, but Trossard follows his man. Caicedo's gone down holding his face, but it was the ball that ricocheted up and hit Caicedo, and he's okay to continue. Arsenal have it with Saka, right-hand side against Estupiñán inside the penalty area. Bukayo Saka gets to the byline, pulls it back, clear to the edge of the box. Mitoma is there to thump to safety. And the Arsenal fans respond to that spurt of energy from the men in red and white.
There's good play from Bukayo Saka on the right-hand side. 1v1 with Estupiñán, goes on the outside of him, tries to cut it back to Granit Xhaka. And to be fair to Levi Colwill's position was really good at the near post. just intercepts a danger.
Still waiting to get these subs on. Welbeck is set for Brighton, and Nelson and Thomas Partey for Arsenal. Here is Gilmour for Brighton. Caicedo. It's going to be a throw into Brighton here, and the changes about to be made. So first of all, we're going to see the Brighton switch, and it's Billy Gilmour that's coming off. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? That's a midfielder coming off and a striker coming on. We'll see how that formation is tweaked. I suspect that McAllister's going to drop in a little bit here. And then for Arsenal, well, like for like in terms of Partey coming on for Jorginho, but the other switch is Xhaka off and Nelson on. So how will that equate, I wonder? Positive changes from both coaches here, Perry.
Yep, I think Thomas Partey is a surprise because we haven't had any control of the game at all in that midfield area. So he's been put in there for that, obviously, bit of physicality. He's got incisive passing when he's on his game where he can pass through the lines.
Here is Reece Nelson. We've got a stoppage here because we've got a Brighton player down. It's a Stupinian that needs a little bit of help. Half an hour remaining.
Just looking at our formation, Reece Nelson will come out onto this left-hand side. Trossard will go a little bit more central. Playing the Granit Xhaka position. From Brighton's point of view, Evan Ferguson stay up front. It looks like from general play, Danny Welbeck will just play a little bit off of Evan Ferguson.
Here is Reece Nelson, caught in possession, surrounded by Brighton players. This is Ferguson to turn back towards Caicedo. Looks to get away from Reece Nelson. That's a free kick. Nelson penalised. Danny Welbeck, 88 appearances for Arsenal, 16 goals. Would have been much more, but for an injury hit. Career when in North London, well liked. Always feel that he should have done a little bit better. Pretty much everywhere he was, he had one or two injury issues. Actually started 19 games for Brighton this season, which the most that he started for over a decade.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for the ideal senior player to come and have an influence on the younger players, you know, how to conduct yourself in training, away from, obviously, the ground itself, where he looks after himself, looks after his body very, very well.
Free kick to Brighton. Gross will curl in. Ramsdale punches away, was caught by his own player. The referee is going to halt play because we've got a flag up. Ramsdale clattered into Kivior. So Ramsdale for Kivior. Arsenal have it inside their own penalty area. But the Gunners have not managed to impose themselves at all on Brighton. And Ciso slips, Ødegaard plays it forward, Trossard to the right-hand side, and Saka. Ben White's on the overlap here, just on the halfway line. Saka turns away from Mitoma. A driving run, looks for Jesus, time to turn. Now it's with Reece Nelson, edge of the penalty area. Nelson looks to get the shot away, just wide! Just wide. Really good hit from Reece Nelson. Arrow-like, just didn't turn enough, and it whistles past the post by inches.
Yeah, it's better passing from our right-hand side. Bukayo Saka just rolling it into Gabriel Jesus, out to the left-hand side. You said there, Reece Nelson cutting inside. Caicedo onto his right foot, just cuts across the ball. Jason Stewart, full stretch, looked like it might nestle into his left-hand post, just goes agonisingly wide.
Caicedo saw Nelson coming, another free kick. Mikel Arteta is almost on the pitch. Pascal Gross is suggesting to the Arsenal coach to calm down a little. And Mikel Arteta's going to get a yellow card for his antics.
Yeah, just Mikel Arteta's getting a little bit frustrated.
I think it was an obvious free kick to give. He was always going to get the free kick. Caicedo was ahead of him.
Yeah,
you know,
so Reece Nelson just leaning into him.
As soon as he feels a little bit of physicality, he's going to go down. Steele, and Arteta turns away because there was only Jesus pressing Steele. Here is Nelson. Trossard jumps. Caicedo wins the header. There's an atmosphere here in North London. The Arsenal fans have brought it. And with 26 minutes remaining, can they lift the men in red and white? Here is Bukayo Saka, right-hand side against Estupinian and Mitoma. Mitoma helps win it back and then flicks it in field. And Brighton have it once again. Inside their own penalty area, though, it's Colwell who will launch it long. Kivior underneath it with a header back. And then Saka flicks it forward, but nobody there. And the right-hand channel to take any sort of advantage. Here is Steele again. Plays it inside his own penalty area for McAllister, who's playing in a deeper role now that Welbeck's on.
Yeah. Alexis McAllister's gone into that holding midfield position. So Danny Welbeck into the 10.
Brighton lose it. This is Ødegaard inside the penalty area. He can't find Jesus or Trossard, and it's cleared. Gross with a defensive duty.
Yeah, again, Brighton trying to play out from the back. This time it's McAllister who gives the ball away. Just puts his hand up to say sorry. I think Trossard actually chose the wrong option there. He's trying to cut back onto his right-hand side where Kubic is taking it across his body onto his left foot.
Dunk to come forward. Ferguson to control. The layoff for Caicedo. Nelson's on him quickly. It's all the way back to Jesus now. To Steele, rather. Jesus is chasing Steele down, but this time Steele goes long. And then Gabriel wins the header. Dunk and Ødegaard underneath it. It's bounced through towards Steele, who will collect. Steele will throw the ball out, and true to Brighton, wants to play it out from the back on the deck. Here is Welbeck. Turn back to this near side, and Dunk. Dunk forwards here for Danny Welbeck. Welbeck over the halfway line has got Caicedo on his right. McAllister in field, and Ciso. The 1-2 with Welbeck. Welbeck coming forward. He's got Mitoma to the left. He wants to go himself. Wasn't that far away, but you almost sense he's taking it with his right foot there. It was always going to curl away from goal.
That encapsulates Brighton all over. Coming from Steele, then all the way into Danny Welbeck. Little flick round the corner. Then he gets the return, plays it into Enciso. Little give and go. Has a shot from fully 25 yards. Doesn't really trouble Ramsdale, but you have to say, you have to admire Brighton because they still stick to their principles. They've had a couple of nervy moments where Jason still looks like he's going to, give the ball away, but he's got the confidence just to keep playing it out to Levi Colwell on the left-hand side.
He has been told to play out with his feet. He had the ball in his hand previously. Here is Mitoma, and he's got away from White, and he races forward inside the penalty area. Still going, good run, stopped by Saka, picked up here. As Brighton look to try and work something with it, but a Stupinian shot is way over, and then the flag is up. And Ramsdale's having a go at the assistant, and so are the fans.
It just does get a little bit annoying when you know that it's actually offside, and they've been told, obviously, to wait, haven't they, until the play stops, because of, obviously, you've got the backup of VAR. But it was a brilliant tackle in the end from Bukayo Saka, because Mitoma left Ben White for dead there. Little feint goes on the outside of him. Mitoma tries to cut inside. It's a really good left trailing leg from Bukayo Saka.
This time from Kawasaki Frontale, who aren't doing so well in the J-League so far this season. Here is McAllister for Ferguson. Brighton come forward again. It's a good touch, and now it's within Suso. It's back towards Ferguson, and it's Thomas Partey that intercepts, and then Ramsdale who will clear, but it's going to go straight to Caicedo. And now it's with Ferguson again, with Gross again, who will play it back for Dunk. Forward by Colwell. The layoff from Welbeck. Here is Mitoma. Brighton dominating here, a goal to the good. Welbeck central position, plays it out to the right-hand side. And Ciso, angle of the box, right flank. Short for Caicedo. And now it's back with Pascal Gross. And Arsenal can't get a touch of the football.
Brighton are very, very comfortable in possession. I've got to say, I've been really impressed with Levi Colwell. When he gets the ball, on that left-hand side of the centre halves.
It was the Stupinian. It's a corner for Arsenal, is it? Corner for Brighton, rather.
He actually fires it into, whether it's Danny Welbeck, whether it's into Evan Ferguson. Looks very, very comfortable in possession. To say Brighton have just looked a lot more fluid than us in this second half. We've looked a little bit disjointed. Haven't been at our free-flying best. With 20.5 minutes to go of normal time, so can we rouse ourselves, because we don't want the season just to finish on a flat note. And the crowd are doing their best to obviously energise our players. Now we just got to make sure we concentrate from this corner for Brighton over on the left.
Corner to Brighton, left-hand side, 21 minutes remaining. It's curled in towards that near post area, over the head of Ben White, but not Gabriel. Here is Estupinian for Caicedo, up against Nelson. Caicedo plays it back. Here is McAllister. Now it's with Enciso. Turns, looks to get to the byline. Can he clip one up? Ramsdale underneath this one does enough. Oh, now then, Tierney's gone down off the ball. Brighton have won it back, but illegally Odegaard felled.
He did well there, Martin Odegaard, because there was nothing on. He got the ball from Ramsdale, just made sure that he kept possession.
Ben White over the halfway line, right-hand side, 20 minutes remaining here at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal need not one but two against a very accomplished Brighton side who have the advantage at the moment, courtesy of Enciso's clever close-range header. Here is Thomas Partey. Now it's with Martin Odegaard. Short, looking for Trossard. Gets the shot away. Straight down the throat of Steele, who makes the save. Comfortable save, if we're honest here, but good movement nonetheless from Odegaard and Trossard.
Yeah, just Thomas Partey rolling into Martin Odegaard. Just playing a little ball down the side of Levi Colwill. Good run from Trossard. Just trying to cut the ball back across Jason Steele. In the end, he can't quite wrap his right foot around it and go straight to the goalkeeper.
Steele finds Colwill, who will play it forward for Mitoma, up against Ben White, cleared away by Kivior, and then nodded down by Saka. Here is Jakob Kivior again, left-footed for Gabriel. Gabriel short for Thomas Partey. Partey looks to try and take on McAllister. Partey forward for Nelson. Nelson back towards Thomas Partey here. Now it's with Kieran Tierney. Brighton ready to make an alteration, incidentally. Who's been called across here? We'll see shortly. White for Bukayo Saka. Brighton win it back. Mitoma does well. Welbeck. Estupinian. Away from Bukayo Saka. Still going. Oh, really good movement here. However, Saka's gone down. And he was trying to make the challenge and he was blocked, and it's going to be an Arsenal free kick, and he's lucky there because Estupinian was nearly in.
Yeah, just a little give and go from Estupinian. Mitoma. It was a good spot from Andrew Madley, because Mitoma's just done an NFL block on Bukayo Saka, stop him getting to the ball. Spotter's badge there from Andrew Madley, the referee. We're back in possession.
Buonanotte is coming on. Jesus turns, dunk brilliantly, edge of the area, still has it on his right side, now on his left, prods it forward towards Nelson. The slightest of touches from Caicedo, sees Brighton clear, and then Caicedo's caught by Trossard, and it's a free kick to Brighton.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration going around the Emirates at the moment. Andrew Madley saying, I think it was Gabriel Jesus, had a brilliant turn initially away from Lewis Dunk. Just rolling the ball out to Reece Nelson. And then Gabriel Jesus, who's on the floor. Caicedo tries to hurdle him and he puts his foot up, fouls him unnecessarily. Andrew Madley spots it and gives the foul for Brighton.
Colwill, again it's long and it's gained towards Mitoma, but it's a good header from Ben White. Now it's with Kivior, controls, left-footed, plays it in field. Gabriel back for Ramsdale, Ferguson closing in, Ramsdale goes long. Nelson beaten in the air by Caicedo, it'll fall for Trossard, but Caicedo is there for the second time. And Enciso doesn't quite keep possession for Brighton. The Seagulls looking a little ragged. Buenanotte, another youngster about to come on. Teenager, Argentine, just 18, who was signed from Rosario Central. Already made his mark on the Premier League with a goal against Nottingham Forest. And the teenager about to come on. No fear from these young Brighton players. Here is Mitoma. Now it's with Estupinian up against Ødegaard. McAllister for Colwell.
We've been critical of Jason Steele with his delivering his service from the goalkeeping position when he's ball at his feet, but earlier on he's just hit a half volley straight out to Mitoma, who's on the apex of the halfway line and the touch line, about knee height. It was like an exocet, went straight to him. I think what happens is Roberto De Zerbi actually says to his Brighton players, I will back you, I will back you. You keep trying to play out from the back. I know that you might make a mistake or you might have an interception, but I'll have more of a go if you don't keep trying to play out. And that's exactly what they do.
What we've seen this season, and maybe previous seasons with the better teams, Manchester City in particular, they want to invite pressure. They want to get opposition players in and around their own penalty area so they've more space in behind. Here is Saka. Caicedo with the key interception again. Well, I know he's a midfielder, but I tell you what, he's done a very good impression of a right-back today.
Well, at first, obviously, it was to negate the threat of Gabriel Martinelli, and obviously he's gone off now. Then he was 1v1 with Trossard. He won that battle. Now it's whether Reece Nelson get the better of him.
Here's McAllister with a shot, just wide.
Excellent strike.
Great work from Welbeck.
From McAllister. Just comes into Danny Welbeck, who's playing in that 10 position, holds the ball up really well. Just flicks it into McAllister as the ball just sits up, hits it on the volley. He'll be disappointed he hasn't hit the target. Ramsdale was scrambling a bit to his right-hand side. Goes about a yard wide.
Ferguson, the player coming off. Possibly not seen the best of him in terms of attacking intent and scoring ability, but in terms of putting it up to a very good centre-half, he's battled well. Also, the switch here is Gabriel Jesus goes off and Eddie Nketiah comes on.
Yeah, from Brighton's point of view, you'd have to say that Evan Ferguson, that's a learning curve for him, you know, the physical battle up against Gabriel.
Ødegaard coming off, Smith Rowe coming on. Well, two big players have come off for Arsenal here. Ødegaard and Jesus, and it's Emile Smith Rowe, who's had real issues with injury over the course of this campaign, who's on, and Eddie Nketiah on up front. Back to the future for Arsenal.
Well, what you want to do, you want to try and get Emile Smith Rowe on the ball in and around Brighton's 18-yard box. He's very good, close control at his feet. He's very good at engaging players, committing them. So if we can get him the service.
Well, what an interesting game it is now. Arsenal's youngsters, Hale graduates everywhere you see in attacking positions. Nelson left, Saka right, and Nketiah through the centre. And of course Smith Rowe, who's now on. Brighton player down at the moment. Can't quite see who it is. Dylan Ciso. Watching the goal again on our monitors here. Tierney made the initial block, and I just don't think the Arsenal players reset. And interestingly, it was Kivior who was down clutching a left ankle. And was he fouled? Oh my word, we've just seen this again. Now, for the first time, I've seen Ferguson crash into the back of Kivior's Achilles.
That's the different angle that we've seen. Obviously from
Well,
behind
I tell
the
you
goal.
what, that puts a real different spin on this.
Well, what's happened is because Ferguson has crashed into Kivior, then he can't defend. He can't defend that near post.
No, he's meant to be picking up Enciso. There's no way he would have been able to make the header if Kivior wasn't down. He was down clutching a left Achilles, left ankle.
Well, we was all looking for the offside, and obviously thinking that VAR was going to look at the offside, so they've actually missed the foul on Kivior.
Oh boy, that should not have stood. I'm not one to talk about referees at all, really, and VAR doesn't really interest me at all, but that's a mistake. Pure and simple. But it's one that Arsenal have got 12 minutes to try and rectify. And that's what you've got to concentrate on. Decisions sometimes don't go your way, even if they should. Here is Buonanotte. Pascal Gross. And Enciso's gone down again, and he might have to come off. Arsenal fans are giving the Brighton coach and his coaching staff a little bit of stick at the moment.
And Roberto De Zerbi's giving it back, trust
Yeah,
me.
well, why not?
It's Eddie Nketiah there just catching McAllister.
There's McAllister, isn't it? I thought it was Enciso initially, but McAllister's gone down. It's a high-ish challenge from Eddie.
Yeah, but he's just tried to pull himself out of it and said, McAllister rolls and rolls, you know that a player's not hurt.
McAllister's just getting back up and looking round, thinking who did that. It is Enciso that needs treatment as well, as I thought. Two players requiring the trainer for Brighton at the moment, different areas of the pitch.
Well, this is exactly how Brighton want it. Obviously 1-0 up, 10 minutes to go. They want to just take the sting out of the game. Not that we've, you know, been able to respond. Just looking for a little bit of inspiration. Can it be Eddie Nketiah? Can it be Emil Smith-Rowe to make his mark in this last 10 minutes?
Enciso looks in real pain. I don't think he's going to be able to continue here. We are going to see another change for Brighton. It's
Well,
Dennis
if he can't
Undav.
continue, he's got to walk off the opposite side. No, he has to walk off the opposite side. He can't let him walk all the way across the pitch.
Well, Andrew Madley has said to him, go off that side.
Well, that makes no sense whatsoever. He's 10 yards away from Brighton's left touchline, and he's walked all the way across the pitch. Obviously, it's exactly what Brighton want to do, because the game is obviously going to go flat.
Tell you what, the rules of the game seem to be changing today. We've had offsides from throw-ins. We've had go off near to the tunnel rather than the touchline. And we're going to restart here with Dennis Undav on. And Enciso, whose goal splits the two sides, coming off and getting a hug and a kiss from Roberto De Zerbi. Pascal Gross is having a right moan up at Mikel Arteta, and Gross has already been booked. And eventually we got a throw into Brighton. Now a throw to Arsenal. Lack of concentration from Brighton. Are they just a little rattled here? Have the Arsenal fans played their part? Have the Gunners players just gone underneath the Brighton's personnel's skin a little bit here? There's been one or two questionable challenges from both teams. The ball is out of play again. Here is Gabriel, now Tierney. It'll fall for Eddie Nketiah on the move. Caicedo tries to get back goal side. Nketiah plays it in field. This is Reece Nelson. Nelson stays on his feet. He's done brilliantly, Reece Nelson. Inside the penalty area, twist and a turn and a shot on the corner.
Yeah, really good link-up play from Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson. Actually, Nketiah looked like he actually got in Reece Nelson's way there, because Reece Nelson wanted to go on the outside. Nketiah's trying to go on the overlap. In the end, Caicedo gets the block in. Corner for us on our left-hand side, taken by Trossard, in swing with his right foot.
Everyone forward for Arsenal, everyone back for Brighton. It's the packed penalty area, 6-yard box full of blue and white striped shirts. Arsenal players on the run towards that 6-yard box. It's floated inside the area. It's clear to the back post. Eddie Nketiah back to goal, plays it out towards Bukayo Saka, recycled towards Smith Rowe, curls it inside the penalty area. It'll fall for Thomas Partey. Push forward for Gabriel, and the block comes in, and the ball goes out. And one or two Arsenal players want a penalty, but not all of them. And then Trossard looks to beat his man, but Caicedo is there, and he's too strong, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, I think Gabriel's sort of clutching at straws there because the ball came to him from Thomas Partey. It's a nothing challenge from Caicedo. Gabriel's just backing in, takes a touch with his left foot, just off balance.
I mean, Caicedo's got his arms round him, but you don't see him, do you?
No.
Here is Mitoma, and Brighton are going to be very dangerous on the break. Outside of the boot towards Buonanotte. Cuts inside on his left side. And then back for Pascal Gross. And Brighton once again established his pattern of play in that middle third where they are bossing the game and controlling the tempo. Dunk. Forward by Colwell. Undav looked offside. The flag's not gone up. Now it has. Utterly ridiculous. Free kick taken. Partey shoved over by Undav. Free kick Arsenal. 10 yards inside the Arsenal half. 5 minutes remaining. And with Manchester City winning earlier today, the gap at the top is 4, and it will remain 4. With Arsenal 2 games to go, Manchester City 3. Oh, Trossard tries to flick it. It's going to fall for Undav here, who nods it over Ramsdale and into an unguarded net. And Brighton have got a second. And with 5 minutes remaining, that could well be game over. Sloppy. Trossard tried to flick it back. It just spun up into no man's land. And that is a call and a clever finish from the substitute, Dennis Undav, who just lobbed it over Ramsdale into an unguarded net. The mistake from the former Brighton player. Mikel Arteta's side have been undone again here. It is Arsenal 0, Brighton 2.
There's a real cool finish from Undav. Ramsdale said there, just rolling the ball into Trossard. He's tried to flick it with the outside of his left foot. He's been closed down by McAllister. It ricochets to Undav. Leaves Aaron Ramsdale completely exposed. Just waits for the ball, Undav just to drop down and volleys it easily over Aaron Ramsdale. It's a real cool finish from Undav. Just really sloppy play from Trossard, getting caught in possession. And you have to say that probably stands us up today, Dan, doesn't it? Because we've been sloppy in possession. We haven't been at our exuberant self. We've just lost that little bit of spark, that little bit of zip in and out of possession. You have to say that Brighton have been the better side.
Well, Arsenal staring at just a second league defeat at home in the face here. Brighton came here and won in the League Cup, and they're going to come here and win in the league. And that's 4 out of the last 5. They've avoided defeat here. They have certainly got Arsenal's number, it would appear. Thomas Partey's been carded for a challenge on the halfway line. Brighton fans, you can hear, they pack the away end.
Well, this is only their second win away from home against teams top half of the table. They beat Man United the first game of the season away from home. So we thought this was going to be a feast of football. And it's Brighton who've dominated possession. They've had the better chances. So they set themselves up very well tactically. We said in the first half, and it was Pascal Gross just going, picking up Granit Xhaka. Levi Colwell was following Odegaard all the way in, so we couldn't get into our passing movements.
They have won the personal battles, and as a team they've been excellent. And well, Brighton will move to 58 points. They will move to 6th position above Tottenham. They will still have 2 games in hand on Tottenham. They will have 1 game in hand on Liverpool above them. They've still got to play Manchester City, still got to play Newcastle. They will be 8 points from a Champions League place, and they will have 4 games to play. I don't think they're going to get that, but they're certain to get some sort of European football, I would have thought, and then that's going to be an interesting test for Brighton next season.
Well, to be fair to Roberto De Zerbi, Brighton have got record amount of points, 58 points, 17 wins, 65 goals, all club records in the Premier League. So it's fair to say he's done quite a good job at Brighton.
He's done a brilliant job. Because the possession-based style has stayed, but the goals have come. And they're more ruthless, more efficient than the Graham Potter Brighton. And I'm going to credit Tony Bloom, the owner. Star Lizard himself, cool as you like. Brighton coming forward again. Toma was racing inside the penalty area. Ball through, just unable to find a teammate. Tierney's got a bit of cramp, I think. First start for a month. Eight minutes of added on time. 3 goals to get, Perry.
A little bit of hope.
Well, look, it's been a wonderful season for Arsenal. Gunners have competed so well for so long. Brighton are a good team. Arsenal haven't been able to impose their game. And given the amount of changes that Mikel Arteta generally didn't make over the course of the season, and it was a tight squad with minimal changes from week to week, maybe the campaign's just catching up with the Gunners, and deepish into the Europa League as well, of course, with fixtures outside into the knockout stages. But look, let's see what Brighton can do with Undav here, looking to switch play, and there could be another. This is Matona, tries to pass it into the net, but it's blocked. Partey has it. Now it's with Nelson. Arsenal should clear.
You just wonder psychologically, if not that it should, but if the Man City game had any effect before, you know, Man City winning 3-0, because we haven't looked like our ebullient, effervescent team that we normally see here at the Emirates. We just looked all over the pitch, just half a yard off the pace.
Never ever shown any rhythm today.
No. So Brighton have set themselves up very, very well tactically, and they just looked the better team in possession, looked a little bit more composed. Obviously the first half was very, very stop-start, very fragmented. And Ciccio had that great chance as well, didn't he, where it was squared across him from Matoma, where he should have hit the target. To be fair, Trossard hit the crossbar.
Here is Steele, who we thought might be gettable in the second half, but that was not the case. Colwell's done well coming in, and offside flag is up as Stupinian. It's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. So 2 games to go for the Gunners. Will be at Forest for you next weekend, then Wolves the final game of the season. Stay with us on the breakdown now. Get your thoughts into Adi and Nick and the gang upstairs. Maybe this just a game too far. Nelson, left-hand side. Can Arsenal get a goal at least here? Inside the penalty area. It's opened up for Reece Nelson a little bit. Good block. Buonanotte. Here is Tierney. And now Gabriel. Tierney left-hand side. In towards Eddie Nketiah. Plays it over to the right-hand side. And Ben White. White looking for Emile Smith-Rowe. Haven't seen him get on the ball just yet. This is Trossard, now it's with Tierney over towards Nelson. If anything, Brighton have just stepped off a little bit here. This is Nelson, gets away from Caicedo, gets to the byline, wants it back on his right side. Here's Tierney, left flank, looks to get the cross in, fairly flat trajectory. It's cleared away by Brighton again. Now it's with Kivior looking for the run of Saka, but Mitoma intercepts. And Brighton are on the move again, and Mitoma is quick if he can knock it down the line, but it's a attempted effort to find his team, and he's blocked, and then McAllister loses out as Saka has it. Partey. Here is Gabriel. Now it's with Tierney. Nelson runs the studs over the ball, left-hand side, comes back in field. Now it's with Trossard. Trossard looking for Nketiah to turn brilliantly inside the area, still going, brought down, referee says no pen. And Steele comes and smothers.
Yeah, it was a great turn from Eddie Nketiah. Looked like he's got himself away from Caicedo initially, just gets the ball out of his feet, looking to get his body across Caicedo. Caicedo actually does quite well, just gets his left leg around him, make sure that he doesn't take him first before he takes the ball. Nketiah should be getting the ball on his right foot to get himself even more across Caicedo there. But as you said earlier, Dan, Caicedo's been excellent in that right-back position, then going and making an extra midfield player. You just have to say that in the game, Brighton have won all their individual battles all over the pitch.
Welbeck coming forward in that free-flowing style, lays it off here, but Anote calling for it. The shot fired in. Ramsdale will parry, but the follow-up goes in from Estupiñán, and Brighton have got a third here. Following up on the left-hand side, he's been such a threat. It's a really good hit. Wasn't the most straightforward of follow-ups here. Ramsdale could only parry out, and Brighton have got a third, and that is the win if it wasn't before.
Yeah, you got to say, on first looks, I think Ramsdale will be really disappointed, because when the shot comes in, it looks like quite a routine save for Ramsdale, and he should be parrying the ball away from the goal, more lateral in what he has done. As the ball comes back out, Estupiñán just follows up, just knocks the rebound over Ramsdale.
Estupiñán certainly onside.
So it's a shot that comes in from
Undav, yeah.
So I think Aaron Ramsdale will be disappointed, because he gets both, he palms his hand to it, he's got to make sure he's pushing it further away from the goal, along the touchline, just parries it back out again. Estupiñán comes in with his left foot, puts it over Ramsdale for Brighton's third goal, and what is going to be a 3-0 victory.
We restart again, and we have got just over a minute of the added on 8. Big win for Brighton, huge disappointment for Arsenal. Look, if we're all honest, everything pointed to Manchester City retaining the title anyway, but that's no excuse, because Arsenal have still got to try and perform here, but there's no doubt that the edge is gone, as Perry was suggesting earlier. But we've got to give an awful lot of credit to the way Brighton have gone about their business here, and Arsenal just haven't been on it today. Here is Saka.
What you wanted to do, Dan, you want to make sure that we pushed Man City right to the end of the season. You know, we kept them honest, kept them just on their toes, but you have to say that the title race is over now, because we've been flat really through the whole game. Brighton dominate possession in the first half, which is unusual for us here at the Emirates.
Caicedo intercepts. He's had a fantastic game, Caicedo. Sure, he might have a closer inspection of Emirates on his way out. Might fancy it for next season.
I think his price has probably gone up, because they said he was going to take 80 million, wasn't it, last time?
Oh, I reckon.
And he signed a 5-year contract.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? That is full time, and it's a very disappointing defeat from an Arsenal point of view. The Gunners never at the races against an accomplished Brighton side who were always willing to take the game to Arsenal when they could, to dominate possession, to play their brand of football. There is some fight in this Brighton side as well. All the goals coming in the second half from Enciso, from Undavas, the mistake from Trossard and from Estupinian after Ramsdale could only parry out. And Arsenal, well, did have chances, but not as many as Brighton. Trossard hit the bar. Jesus and Ødegaard were busy, but not effective. And I think we've just got to give a lot of credit to Brighton here because they've been the better side, Perry.
Very much so. So the first half was very fragmented. Neither side could really get into the rhythm, but Brighton dominated possession. Probably had the better chance from Enciso where he hit the ball over the crossbar, but he should have used some scientific intent to net and was hoping that we was going to up the tempo in the second half. But that didn't transpire, and you have to say, as I mentioned earlier, Brighton won all of their 1v1 battles. I think Roberto De Zerbi actually won the tactical battle as well, putting Caicedo at right back. Pascal Gross then negating the threat of Granit Xhaka in that inside left position, playing Mitoma. We thought would be on Brighton's left-hand side. He went onto the right-hand side with Enciso on the left, and them two swapped over. Their rotation was excellent. They dominated the midfield areas. And then the only bone of contention from our point of view is after Enciso's header, what he put in from probably 2 or 3 yards unmarked, then when we see an angle from behind the goal, Kivior gets fouled, gets stamped on, which VAR hasn't seen. That put us, you know, with a bit of a uphill battle, and there wasn't really I thought it was going to be a rousing reaction from ourselves, and it didn't really transpire, Dan, did it? We, you know, all the players looked a little bit flat, and then Trossard makes a mistake, gets closed down by McAllister. Undov is a cool finish over Ramsdale. Really, the game is done and dusted from that point onwards. So it's just you can see the Arsenal players walking off, obviously dejected and disappointed, because they'd have wanted to put on a show. They would have wanted to make sure that keep the pressure on Man City. And to be fair, this Sunday, from an Arsenal fan's point of view, which we all are, couldn't have gone any worse. Obviously, with Man City winning 3-0 at Everton, and then ourselves obviously getting well beaten here today at the Emirates, 3-0 by Brighton. And then you have to say Brighton were the better side today. And I think Mikel Arteta, in his interviews afterwards, will probably acknowledge that as well, because none of our players met the standards that we've set. Excellent high standards all season. We didn't really get anywhere near that today.
A game too far, maybe. Brighton, worthy winners. 3-0 scoreline that does not sit well, but it's one that we'll have to suck